I wouldn't want to live in a part-time house for about 5 seconds a day, then come back out into the cold. I would like to stay there for about the rest of my life until I get my life on track. So I would like people to do something about it and keep them off my streets for the sake of theirs. In conclusion,
Wow.
that's right. I would like the way I would get help in my school and in my life for people who don't have help. Because my mom says people can do all things through Christ who strengthens them. My mom's right there.
Go ahead, point that mom.
My mom was also the PTA president of my school.
Oh.
So she gets all, oh, you should help people. And I would like to follow that. So I would like to be like the Michael Jordan of the community who carries the Bulls to the championship.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I have two more. June Harris. June Harris. Angela Yeboah. Angela. And Damon Jones next.
Oh, I thought he said Damian Jones, what you call him?
I'm glad that
L.A.
everybody
Reid?
turned
Yeah.
out.
L.A. Reid?
I've
Yeah.
actually
Davy Jones,
learned
L.A.
about
Reid?
this Learning Center home
He looks like L.A.
shelter
Reid, his
just
brother.
yesterday. I
His
know a
twin.
lot of people talked about what their primary
Reid's twin.
investment is with regard to their homes
She's a hot
and
mess.
property value, but my primary investment is my 2-year-old son. My 2-year-old son attends Friendships for Tots, and I found out about this yesterday. And I have to tell you that I'm extremely disturbed. And I'm disturbed not because the community is reaching out to help people that are in great need, but I'm disturbed because I was never given any notice. I work as an attorney, and you can never be hauled into court without some form of notice. I didn't receive a summons. I didn't receive any notification that this was going to be going on in my 2-year-old child's school. And I'm offended by that because it makes me feel as if my investment is of no value. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem. When I sent my son to that school, I didn't send him to a homeless shelter. I sent him to a place that I thought would be safe, he could learn, and it's called Friendship for Tots. And I feel like the wool has been pulled over my eyes. And I'm extremely disturbed by this. I'm really at a crossroads right now because my son has been going there for about a month and he's growing, he's developing. But you instill in children integrity, pride, and you teach them that money is not something that needs to be valued above your integrity and your pride and respect for others. And I do not want to send my child to a school where he's indirectly and directly being taught that he is not of an importance, but money is. And sir, as a representative, I want to ask you, if you had a grandchild, or if you had a niece or a nephew who was attending a school that's housing homeless people, would you feel comfortable with that? And you can answer that because I'm not asking your boss, I'm asking you directly. You wouldn't feel comfortable, and exactly, but you would be offended, and you would probably be in the audience like most of these people fighting. So what I want to tell you, sir, is that when you're sitting in that powerful seat in government, you need to put yourself in the same position that we're in. Because we pay taxes, we are educated people, we love this community, and we want the best for our children, just like you would want the best for your child.
Thank you, thank you. Damon Jones and Donna Jackson are the final two. Damon.
Good evening, everybody. I want to thank
Samuel L.
Legislator
Jackson?
Lyndon Williams for giving us this opportunity.
L.A. Reid.
I want to speak from a law
L.A. Reid.
enforcement perspective. Mount Vernon PD is overworked as it is. And if you actually check with the records, you can see how many calls that ESU have to respond to the homeless shelters that's already here. Now, as a correction officer, there is no programs and assistance for those that come out and they become homeless. I can walk around the corner to Dunkin' Donuts and it looks like I'm walking in a housing unit at work because I see everybody there because they have nowhere to go. And some of them end up committing more crimes just to go back to jail so they're able to be taken care of. So this is what's going on. Now we also have to look at if they come back to the homeless shelter, heating place, whatever they call it, a lot of them get locked out. And then the police is called because they're roaming the streets. This is a public safety issue. This is a public safety issue. And last but not least, politicians in Westchester knew that this was going to happen. There was a report back to Andrew O'Rourke in 1992 from the African American Advisory Board that warned and showed how they was moving Section 8 to Mount Vernon, Yonkers, homeless shelters to Mount Vernon and Yonkers, and this is what we see today. We see the high crime, we see the guns, we see everything. Not saying that we're against homeless people, but you must have the assistance to give when people are in need, and that's not happening from the county. And the city doesn't even have enough money to pay the police officers or pay the city workers. So everybody is being strained, and people are paying crazy amount of taxes. So is the county going to reimburse the taxpayers for the police services? No, they're not going to do it. And Mr. Goodside, we talked before, and if they don't want to do right, I think we should sue Westchester County for reparations.
Good evening, everybody. A lot has been said. I would actually like to know if any RFPs were received for this homeless shelter from any other areas. There were only two. Was there a wide? I mean, was this advertised to all municipalities? I plan on filing a FOIL request because I would like to see what it is that Friendship has promised to do. I don't think that they're going to be able to do it. I'd like to know if there's anything in the city code of Mount Vernon that would prohibit a homeless shelter being put in a residential area. If not, then I think that something needs to be brought before the city council that says this cannot be, we cannot have homeless shelters smack dab in the middle of a residential area. So that should be in our city code. So we all have work to do. We all have work to do. I'd like to know, I know that Astorino has slashed funding to the Mount Vernon Neighborhood Health Center. Do we know if there was another RFP put out to provide services and medical needs and stuff like that to homeless people? Is Mount Vernon one of the finalists in that RFP? Because we don't have the services. We don't have the medical services. We don't have the mental health services. We cannot support this project. I have 2 little girls, and I'm frightened to death. Frightened to death. I have nothing against homeless people. I'm one paycheck away from being homeless. We're all struggling. But this can't happen here. This can't happen up the street from home school where my girls go. It can't happen. And I'm going to fight you. That's it.
Okay. All right. Gentleman has his hand up.
President of Vernon Manor Section of Sewage we pay $60,000 a year in combined taxes. And we said the bishop left, and it's $120,000 contract, if I'm not correct. It's approximately 90 days from its inception to when you say it's going to be canceled. That's $1,300 a day, over $9,000 a week, and over $37,000 a month for those 90 days this guy's going to get. What's going to happen to the rest of did that money go? That is absolutely absurd. If those numbers are correct, like everybody said here, you know, that money could be well spent way many different areas. If I can just explain to you.
All right.
The contract is.
The contract was for January to April 15, October 15 through December 31st. And I already told you, come April 15th, we're already going to begin to look elsewhere. Okay, that's number one. So, second. Okay. As for the amount, that is the not to exceed amount. They get paid per client that comes in. They don't get paid a blanket check, and if nobody shows up for a week, they're not getting paid. So that's a not to exceed. It's not like he gets a check at the beginning or at the end, regardless of who shows.
So in other words, the more people that are there, the greater amount of payments are going to be made. But let me, hold on. I think he says 18 beds. 14 beds? Yeah. The contract, I think, says 18 beds. The contract says 18, but you can tell us, I mean, obviously, what you've heard here is people do not want it there. So whether it's 18 or 14, they don't matter. It doesn't really matter. Hold on. It's 9:20, okay? Hold on. I want to do a few things. One, I know that you have a lot of questions. That's the reason why I had all this. I want to let Mr. Oros respond to some of the questions that were asked here right now so that you have a sense of because he's speaking for the county executive. And so you have a sense of what it is that they plan to do. After that, I'm going to have Mr. Jenkins, who's the chairman of the board of legislators, make a statement before we even, then I will try to get a few questions in so that we at least break it up so you hear from people who are up here. Mr. Oros, if you can,
Okay. First of all, I do appreciate all of you coming out. I know it's not what you want to do on a whatever night this is, Thursday evening. So I appreciate you all being here. My purpose here tonight was I think we answered most of the questions. I think what would be most beneficial, however, is, and I'll work with Legislator Williams however he wants to set it up. I took down a lot of notes about everything that was said. We had gotten a lot of emails and phone calls, I guess, starting on Tuesday. And we have considered, what people have been saying, and again, that's why the decision was made that we are going to start a process to find some other site. I would encourage the city and Legislator Williams to help us find a suitable site. I heard about how the Y was the good site. No. That may be. This is not going to work, Linda. Linda, we have to do this.
The decision of whether or not it's going to stay in Mount Vernon or not, that's not a decision that he's going to make.
Well, not right now.
I can tell you that right now because, first of all, I'm not going to support this. Yes.
I think it's pretty clear from all the commentary that we've heard tonight that the citizens of Mount Vernon do not want this site. The main point here is, I think everyone recognizes that, is Mr. Morris, or whatever his name is not in a position to make a decision on that. And we don't want him to make a decision on that, because I think it's at a point now where the citizens of Mount Vernon have to stop this. And what I would recommend is that we look, and I'm an attorney, and I know nothing about the social service law, but there has to be something fundamentally wrong in having a homeless shelter in a facility where your kids. legally, there has to be a problem there, and we have to figure out a way to stop it. And if we can't get some redress from the county, and I don't expect to get any redress from the county, if we can't get any redress from the county legislators, and I don't expect that we can with the immediacy that we need, then you guys need to file an injunction and stop this.
All right. I'll get the questions. Let me,
What we have it going on, okay? When they leave, okay, at 7 o'clock in the morning, our children are coming in at 9 o'clock, correct? Between 8:30 and 9, whatever, it doesn't make a difference. When they are leaving, is that building disinfected? Is it sanitized? Is it checked for drugs? Is it checked for weapons? Is it checked for anything? Are our children walking into a very hazardous school?
look, I understand. I just wanted to make sure that you know that I understand all of the, that's the reason why I had this, scheduled this hearing. Because I think your voices need to be heard, and it needed to be heard loud and clear. And I think tonight, Mr. Oros should have heard it loud and clear. And he needs to bring that message up and ring it out on the 9th floor of the county building so the county executive as Torino hears it loud and clear. Because I know that your voices, I can tell you, hold on a minute. We don't give up in Mount Vernon, and you know that. So this is just the beginning of what is going to be a massive resistance to this. I just want to let you know. So you can convey that to the county executive. Okay? All right. Okay, thank you. Mr. Jenkins, you want to?
First, let me ask it, okay. Good evening, everyone. First, Legislator Williams has been doing a yeoman's job trying to make sure that information is getting out and needs to be recognized that particular scenario. There were two questions that you asked. The first question, Mr. Orles did hear what you had to say. He said that they're going to look in the future. The contract is a not to exceed contract. And as it was in the past, because that shelter, that was a warming center, I believe it was 2007 or 2008, where that there was a contract there to do that. And yeah, that's correct. It was done away with because the Department of Social Services decided not to send anyone there for the various things that you brought up this evening. That doesn't need to wait 6 months. That could be a decision tomorrow. Keep it in mind that there's certainly our county responsibility to deal with social services law. That being said, we can make the thing work, and what I expect to happen is that we will not be sending anyone to the shelter in the near future and working through this particular process to resolve it tomorrow. Right? Not 6 months from now, tomorrow. The administration, Mr. Rose is the chief of staff, and he certainly has heard clearly that the combination that was not even in the RFP. That was not considered, as the gentleman was just brought up right now. That was not even in front of any of us. I was told there was only one response, by the way. Right? That was we were told there was only one response to the RFP, and Legislator A. Williams said it was the chair of the committee. That was back in 2011 when they were talking about rapid rehousing and a lot of things that we have to deal with on the county level. So tomorrow, we should have a decision that says we're not doing anything there because of the additional concerns and considerations that you have brought up that were not known at the time when the church responded to an RFP that it probably should have responded to. So I mean, whether or not that happened. Someone asked me earlier about the ANC process. It was an emergency resolution that was put in front of us to deal with. It came at the last minute. It wasn't something that was like considered for months or weeks that we got in ANC, and there's 3 people that vote on ANC, and I'm one of them. Mr. Williams is sometimes when I'm not available, etc. But there's only 2 votes that are necessary. So that wasn't the issue. So let's not focus on that. Let's focus on what has been brought up now, the concerns that there are a multitude of services and the wraparound services that we need to make sure things work. Brother Jones, DK Jones said a little bit earlier, we have to have all of the programs like we used to have working together. That made sure that we had both the support services that were necessary, that's right, our law enforcement community, our social services community, and the community, by the way, all pulling together. Because most of the folks we're talking about, especially when you talk about homeless folks, our #1 population of homeless individuals in Westchester County, at least on our correctional facility, happen to be veterans. And we need to make sure that we're dealing with that at the county level. That's not an individual community's responsibility to deal with, it's all of our responsibility to deal with. So tomorrow, we should have no one go into that shelter. It's 14 to 18 days. And then we'll work through the other things that we have to work with in the county. Yes, the county executive could direct the Commissioner of Social Services to do that tomorrow, right? But the Commissioner of Social Services has a mandate from the state, that he's responsible to the state, that he has to do certain activities. But we don't have to send things, we don't have to send people to that shelter because we have a few more that we have. So we have some other options, and clearly y'all made your voice heard, all right? Have a good night.
Thank you all for coming out. I just want to limit